What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to give you a quick readout of how the sound deadening in the doors perform, as well as some other little tweaks that I made to try and reduce the wind and road noise in my Tesla Model 3. Thanks to everyone who watched the video yesterday, and my apologies to some of you who wanted the results right away, and I didn't even have them yet. So in the future, I'll try and put all the pieces together in one video, but for this series, it's going to take a bit of time. So, might do a couple more that are piecemeal like this, but for my other ones, I'll just hold the progress, hold the results, and put them all together in one video. So a few little things before I find a good place to pull over and give you the results. I've got them on my iPad with me. This morning I went out, did the drive. It was rainy and windy just like it was yesterday, though I don't know on a scale of 0 to windy how much the difference really was. I think it was roughly the same, but as I mentioned yesterday, I can't control the road conditions, so this isn't super scientific. I'm doing the best that I can, but know that there will always be variations in there. Second thing is, when I got home, I went out and I popped open the back door, added sound deadening material to that as well. This one went a whole lot quicker because I had done it before. I knew what I was doing, and instead of trying to cut a bunch of little pieces and fit them into the nooks and crannies, especially on the inside of the door panel, I just went over the top, and I found with the right tools and the right pressure, it seemed to stick okay. So it was actually quicker. It has better coverage, and I think it did a better job. So I wish I had somebody else's Model 3 to practice on first, but it is what it is. The other thing I did when I was back there working on the doors, I just popped off the trim piece that is between the back seat on the vertical side and the door panel. Really interesting to get in there. You've got a couple of high voltage cables that it gives you access to, but you've also got a couple of places that go straight through to the fender well. I know the fender's got some insulation on the outside of the car between the wheel and the inside of the fender, but the fact that there wasn't any sound deadening on the inside of the panel means a lot of that road noise, whether it's rocks hitting the inside of the panel or otherwise, kind of comes right through. So I was tempted to put Dynamat on that today. That's weird. I was tempted to put Dynamat on that today, but I figured let's do the tests one step at a time. As I had planned, I will do both the doors, go out and do another test, and then I will look for a couple of additional panels around the wheel wells. I think, the back ones definitely, I'm going to dig around and see if there's any gaps up near the front ones that I could do as well. And I'll consider adding Dynamat to the trunk floor. Don't know if I'm going to do that in multiple steps or I'll just do the doors test, insulate all the rest, and do that as a final test. So I've got the results in front of me, and I'll put them up on the screen as well. But a couple of things to remember as I read these out. The decibel scale is logarithmic. So for every 10 decibels, it's like doubling the volume or the power of the sound. Put that scale in perspective, 1 decibel change is actually a 10% change in sound volume. The first test that I did was just a baseline, no door insulation, but it did have the gasket in the glass up there. I did it both with my snow tires and summer tires, 19s for the snow, 20s for the summer, at 43 or 42 and a half-ish, which is what the door says for tire pressure, and 39, which is what Elon said you could do to get a little bit of a better ride and quieter ride. So the first one, just on the snow tires, going from 43 pounds to 39 pounds, it's about half a decibel. And you can see that some of the bigger improvements were in the higher range at 75 and 80, but interestingly enough, there was a pretty big improvement at 60 as well, of just shy of 1 decibel. And that's almost 10% in terms of sound volume. The next test, and I'm going to just compare these to each other and not to the baseline, because it was rainy and windy 2 days ago when I did this, compared to a nice clear morning when I did my winter tires. So if we compare the summer wheels between the 43, or the recommended pressure, and the 39, this one's actually a bit bigger on these wheels. It's 1.3% decrease, or a full decibel. When I was up at 80, that's over 1.1 decibels, so that's actually a pretty noticeable decrease. There actually is a place where you can test your hearing to see if you can hear the difference between half a decibel, 1 decibel, 3 decibels, 6 decibels, etc. On the internet. It's interesting because you can do it at different volumes. You'd think you'd want a set volume. But if I turn it up all the way, I can hear the difference down to half a decibel. And then this morning, I didn't actually do 2 tire pressures because it was raining out and I didn't feel like getting out of the car to inflate the tires back up. So I just did 39 on the summer tires. And that baselined to the 39 without the door insulation was another half a decibel. For some reason, the savings was highest at 60 miles an hour, but I might just chalk that up to some bad data rather than something that's true. But up at 80, 75 and 80, it was actually at half a decibel. So, getting the same readings for those, I believe it. Is it a huge increase? No. Is it noticeable? For those that can hear it, yes, and it was only 2 doors. So I'm going to keep ticking away and see if it makes a difference, and we'll keep you updated from there. But will I take a 5% reduction in sound volume? Absolutely. So if you guys have any suggestions of things I should try and do to bring the noise down, this can become a bit of a quest of mine. Leave them in the comments below. As long as they're reasonable, I'm happy to try them out over time. So keep an eye out on my channel to see future videos like this as I progress through sound deadening of different panels. To make that easier, you might as well hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, and thanks again for watching. Now I'm just going to leave it playing with some music here as I drive down one of my favorite, very close roads that's kind of windy, that frankly I wish they'd close so I could drive faster on.